Are ghosts real? Hello and welcome to another episode of Are Ghosts Real? With me, Corinne, and thank you so much for tuning in to this journey. Today we are at Saint Akelda's, I had to think then, St. Mary's Church, which is in Middleham. And this is a church that Richard III went to often and actually put a lot of money into the church as well. So, because he was religious, he was deeply pious, and at the time, religion was huge in England. So to show piety, kings and stuff would put money into the church. And he put a lot of money into this specific church itself. And so, yeah, I'm just going to do a brief history of the church. Unfortunately, I couldn't get in because I'd been to the castle beforehand. And by the time I'd finished at the castle, annoyingly, the church had actually closed at that point. But I do plan to go back, and I do plan to go into the church because, reason being, it would be amazing to actually go in there. Pure, not just because of the history and because of what is inside. I mean, it's supposed to be an absolutely beautiful church, but also because I will literally be walking in his footsteps because he has been in this specific church. So for me, that would just be incredible. So anyway, enough of me prattling on. I will quickly go and do the history of the church. If you're not into the history, then you can skip this part, but I will see you afterwards, and then we'll get into the investigation. So I hope that you enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to smash the like button for me, press the subscribe for me, and also leave me a comment because that helps out the algorithm. If you do not know what to put, just put a little ghost emoji and I will love that because I do love those. I think they are so awesome. Anyway, enjoy, and I shall see you guys after the video. So the Church of St. Mary's and St. St Akelda in North Yorkshire has a rich history that dates back to the 13th century and even also the Saxon times. It was then also made a collegiate college church in 1477 by Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who of course then became later King Richard III. So the church itself has strong connections to Saint Akelda, who was a Saxon princess and a saint, and the church was likely built on or near a holy well or spring which was associated with her. So the legend has it that she was an Anglo-Saxon princess, also possibly a nun, who was then strangled by a pagan Viking woman during a Danish raid in about 800 in Middleham in Yorkshire. She then became a patron saint. She may also have been an abbess in a monastery in Middleham in 1389. But again, this is all sort of stipulation rather than actually, rather than based on fact. But the church, anyway, is named after her. Richard, of course, spent most of his childhood in Middleham Castle, and then his son, Edward of Middleham, was also brought up in Middleham Castle. So St. Akelda's church is a Grade 1 listing building, and most of the church that you see today actually dates back to the 14th century, and the name obviously derived from that holy well. So Richard, after the Battle of Barnet in 1471, the lordship of Middleham was granted to Richard, Duke of Gloucester, by his brother, King Edward, and this, of course, included the parish church, for Richard held the right of advowson, which is basically to appoint a clergy to an office. And then he subsequently spent a lot of money elevating the college to a collegiate status several years later. He was very much into religion, he was very pious, and we know that he was a Roman Catholic and practiced that religiously. He created a total of 10 chantry or college foundations whose purpose was to pray for him and his close relatives. A chantry was an altar with the endowment of one or more priests to say mass in perpetuity for the founder whilst living and for their souls after death. This could be a side altar in an existing parish church or a separate chapel building specifically built for that purpose. A wealthy and influential founder might seek the license of the king, the archbishop of the province, to convert an existing church into a college, with several priests and choristers. There is evidence within the collection of Middleham Collegiate Church deeds that this process being followed in the foundation of the College of Middleham. On the 21st of February 1478, a license was issued by Edward to his brother, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, to found the college at Middleham in honour of Jesus, the Blessed Virgin Mary, and St. Akelda. This consisted of a dean, 6 chaplains, 4 clerks, 6 choristers, and a clerk to perform divine services and offices for the health of the king, the queen, his brother and his wife, and their heirs and the souls of the faithful dead. This license comprised of a parchment document with a large fragment of the pendant seal still attached, which is the Great Seal of Edward. So then the foundation was issued in the 4th of July in 1478, and this then documented his initials, Richard III's initials, with the initial R at the beginning of the text, but then never filled in. So the first line starts with Ichard. Similarly, the borders are also undecorated. From the top left, the document is endorsed with R. Gloucester, which is also quite interesting. It was partly written in English and partly written in Latin, and Richard himself may have had a hand in drafting its content, which sets out the statuses of the college. And it's very, very interesting because you can see throughout these documentations, you can actually see the difference in his writing as well as it goes on, which is quite interesting. If you get a chance to have a look at any of them, there is actually a blog that you can have a look at, which actually has all of his, well, not all of them, but it has a few of the documents. So I think it was 6 out of 7 documents have actually survived. And there's a guy on there who does actually, or a woman, that does go through the documents and actually gives her opinions on what may have been going on at the time and his writing. And she sort of analyzes his writing, which is extremely interesting. So I will put a link to that in the comments as well, in the blurb, so you can actually go and have a look at that, because it is extremely interesting, and also it's amazing to see his writing and the different styles of writing as well, and from the start to the finish, and how his writing changes when he's really, really angry. Which I suppose is like anyone, really, it all changes. But going backwards to this, so in the 1930s there was a window put in commemoration of Richard III. It's called the Richard III window, and it has him. It also has his son. And it was in accordance with the late 15th century York artists, and is intended to represent the people of Middleham in memory of their benefactor. So it represents Saint Richard of Chichester, with the figures of King Richard III and his son, Prince of Wales, beneath. The right hand light represents St. Anne teaching her daughter, the Virgin Mary, to read, and then beneath that is the figure of Queen Anne, wearing an emblazoned mantle displaying the alliances of her own illustrious house. For she was the daughter of Warwick, the kingmaker, of course, and the granddaughter of Richard Beauchamp. And in the window as well is the bear and the ragged staff of Warwick, and of course the sun of splendour of the Yorkist, and the white boar for Richard. So I really wanted to see this window, but unfortunately for me, it was shut when I went. So unfortunately I couldn't get in, but I am hoping to go back, and I am hoping to get in because it does look amazing inside. It looks like an absolutely amazing church, so hopefully I will get in. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now and waffling on, so let's get into the video. And to me, I suppose that's the biggest thing about this journey, is being able to walk in his footsteps. Interestingly, I'm feeling more at the church than I did closed. That's unfortunate, it's closed. I'm feeling more here in the castle, which I do find particularly interesting, actually. I'm trying to see about the wind, because it is extremely windy. Beautiful dales over there. Well, I'm slightly protected from the wind here, so what I'm thinking I might do is just try something really quickly here, because it's still bitterly cold. But I don't know, I'm definitely getting something more here than at the castle, 110%. So I want to see if there is something here, or maybe if Richard comes here still. I mean, he was deeply pious, he was deeply spiritual, so maybe he comes to the churchyard, maybe he comes to the church. He spent a lot of money on the church. I'm just upset that I can't go in, but it's my fault because I got up late. Yeah. And then also as well, it took me so long to get up here. It's a long journey for me, but it's worth it. It's definitely been worth it. Obviously I don't know what I've got, even I've got anything on Sia, I don't know. I mean, Sia, the recorder. So if there's any spirits here, anyone in the churchyard, my name is Corinne. I'm calling out to anyone. Oh, there's a little ladybird there. Hello, Mr. Ladybug. Oh, it's a baby one, I think, because it's really small. Anyway, if there's anyone here who'd like to come and speak to me, you're very welcome to do so. I've travelled a very, very long way to be here today. I live near London, so it's a long way for me. Close it. So I was wondering, I've just been, well, I'm not going to tell you where I've been. Can you tell me where we are? Is Edward of Middleham buried here? Because no one actually knows where he's... What? No one actually knows where he was actually buried. It says watching. Is someone watching me? Legal? What? I think it just said legal. Okay. Not really sure. Tom. It says Tom. Not really sure what that means, but it says legal. Problem is, I can't read any of these headstones because, well, look, you're basically buried, so I don't even know if there is a Tom here. Maybe if I think it's John something Middleham. There's Charlotte Elizabeth over there, John, Eddie, John. There's a lot of Johns. I'm seeing a lot of Johns. Okay. Oops. I just heard the word Tom come through. I don't know. I just had the word Tom come through. Where are you, Tom? I think I just heard please help. But then the wind is really high, so I don't know if I heard that or not. That's the problem. It's really the hardest part about this is when it's this windy and you're outside, it's flipping hard. And I need to stop swearing. I keep swearing lately. That's William, John, another John, Mary. No, I'm still not seeing a Tom. Man, Elizabeth Langston, Jane Hutchinson. I'm looking for Tom. Can Tom help me find him? Another John. Jeez, there's so many Johns. John through there as well. Can someone tell me what about Queen Anne? Were her and Richard in love? Did someone... Oh, let's maybe see if anything comes up on Sia. I should have really done this in the castle, but I kind of forgot. And then I was like, oh wait, Sia. If there is any spirits here, I invite you to come and talk to me. Is Edward of Middleham here? Buried here? Can you tell me what he looked like? Or, sorry, can you show me what he looked like, even? This thing in front of me will not harm you. All it does is it paints your portrait. Or if anyone in the churchyard wants to talk to me, you're very welcome to do so as well. Maybe Richard III, the Duke of Gloucester. King of England, Lord of the North and Protector of England. Maybe if he is here, there's something you'd like to show me. Or maybe if Anne Neville is here. Would you like to show me anything, Your Majesty? My lady? Queen Anne. It's interesting. I said I felt like something was here. But I don't anymore. If there's anyone here at all that would like to talk to me, you're very welcome to come forward. I mean you no harm, I mean you the greatest respect. My name is Corinne. Which also reminds me, I never actually said, and I don't know whether someone answered. Maybe they did not. So I will tell you. But my name, the Greek goddess, or the Greek mythology that it comes from, is actually Thesperone, who is the Greek goddess that, well, she ended up going into the underworld because Hades abducted her, and then her mother, this is what created the seasons, because her mother was so upset that on Earth became winter, and then when she's released back, so she eats like a magic plum or something, and then she ends up coming back, and then when she comes back, it's spring and summer. So my name effectively is Maiden, which is the same name as hers before she became Thesperone and ended up in the underworld. So anyway, I'm probably going to leave it there, to be honest, because I'm not feeling anything. I'm not getting anything here now. I did for 5 seconds, but to be fair, it's I don't know. Whatever it's feeling has definitely disappeared. So I'm going to call it quits. Someone is whistling away, which is quite nice. I'm going to call it quits now, but I hope that you really enjoyed this one. I'm not sure if I got anything. As I said, I didn't particularly feel anything in the castle, but it's worth it. It's worth coming here and being here and walking in his footsteps, because I'm learning so much about this man from from just this place alone. There were so many books. You know, he was into guns and warfare and chivalry and loyalty, and of course Warwick shaped him massively in all of these areas, including the biggest one, betrayal even. Portrayal. So yeah, I mean, it would probably teach him not to trust anyone, which penultimately he did unfortunately trust people he shouldn't have done, for a very long time, because I think maybe he just did. I mean, we all do it, don't we? We always want to believe the best in people, and then sometimes they let us down, and it's like, oh. But you always want to carry that with you, the best of people. I did find a Thomas Migley, died the 21st of January, aged 70 or something. I can't read that. 1861, I think. I don't know. But anyway, I did find a Tom. I also found another Tom here, which you can barely see. That's another Thomas here. So I think they bury them all together, like the same name all together. I think that's how they do it. Potentially. Although I can't work that out with that. All together. Or maybe they don't, because these aren't Toms. Thomas. No, there's another John. Okay, maybe not. Francis. But yeah, I thought I would share that because I thought that was quite interesting. Obviously, I don't know if it's him. I really want to get into the church. It's just annoying. It's infuriating that I got here as late as I did. And so the church is shut. But there's some beautiful there's beautiful, stained glass windows that I'm pointing at right now, that show, show beautiful things of Richard III, and also just the Yorks in general. So I'm gonna go. But it's an excuse to come back, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for me. And thank you to all the Justice Squad and everyone for tuning into Are Ghosts Real with me, Corinne. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.